Welcome to the video lectures of Vivekananda Institute of Management. In today's video, we'll be looking at the types of planning. Generally, planning is classified as long-term, medium-term and short-term. But the actual words for a management student would be to use strategic planning, tactical planning and operational planning. For a layman, the strategic planning is equivalent to the long-term plan. The tactical plan is equivalent to the medium range plan or medium term plan, and operational plans are similar to the short term plans. And if you look at the features also, the strategic plans are usually long range in nature. They are taken at the top level of the organization, and they are stated in a very general terms. Okay, and compared to strategic management, the tactical plans, they are of a medium range, that they are not very long term in nature, they are of a moderate term, and generally these are taken at the middle level in the organization, and they are specifically stated. What each department has to do is stated specifically. And then there are furthermore large number of operational plans at a level lower than the tactical level, and these are short term plans. They are for maybe sometimes a few hours to few days. Okay, and these short term plans are usually seen at the operational level in the organization. That is where the actual production or where the actual giving and taking of the money, where the financial actual transactions take place, where the actual quality control takes place, where the actual marketing activity takes place, where the actual interview selection process, training takes place. That is the operational level. And these operational plans are very detailed. They are detailed in nature. Now let us look at these from the organization point of view. So we'll go from the operational to the tactical and then to the strategic plans. Okay. So the operational level plans, they are basically, as we said, short term, and they are given in great details. So the operational areas for an organization, usually a traditional organization into manufacturing, that has got production department, HR department, finance department and marketing department. Now if you take these departments individually, then you will find that each of these functional areas, they would require to draw up plans for their routine activity which is carried out on a day-to-day basis. So the production department would have targets set for every day, and sometimes if they are working in shift, the targets for each shift may be required, and some situations require that in a particular shift, if there are batches in which the goods are manufactured, then for each batch they would have some targets. Depending on the legal requirements and other aspects, it would depend that for what would be the short term period. So whether it is batch wise or whether it is shift wise or whether it is a day wise, depending on the production cycle also, the duration of this operational plan would depend. So sometimes it may be few hours, sometimes few days also, sometimes up to maybe 1 month or so. So usually we don't go beyond 11 months or more than 1 month, 1 year for a short term period. So this plan is divided into further smaller targets which are given to individuals, and they are given in greater details. If you take marketing for example, the operational marketing plan is, they would know what is the stock available and what is the orders they have to get from the retailers, etc., so that those goods are brought into the market and from there they reach the consumers and customers. So generally a traditional company would keep a track of what is the stock available at the distributor or the dealer level, and they would go from shop to shop, collect the orders and ensure that these goods are delivered there, and from there they reach the consumers or customers. So these are very detailed. So the company would know what is the stock level of each item at the distributor level, overall in the state level, what is the stock position, what is the stock position in the different distributor points, what is the stock level available at the wholesale godowns of the company, etc. And also they would know what is the stock level in each of the retail outlets also. So based on this they can plan for their further steps. So these will be the inputs that will be forwarded to the other department, and the other department in coordination will think of the production. So which are the items on which they are running short, which are the items that are already available in large quantities so that they can reduce that production. So according to the marketing activities, the production department will vary or adjust its production schedule. So they will have their own schedule and they will create their own targets. So this way the production and marketing department may have going to coordinate at the operational level. Similarly, what orders are obtained, how many days would be required to collect that amount, etc. Those things will determine the financial plan at the operational level. So at the operational level they know that this is the credit that we provide for our dealers, etc. So these many days would be required to get that cash back, and if somebody defaults on the payment, if they are not making within the payment due date, then how many days would be required. All these things are the operational level plans at the finance department. So similarly the HR department will have its operational things like what is the number of people that is required in say production department, what is the training program that we have to conduct for the marketing people or the finance people. So these are several aspects which are detailed, and these plans are drawn up at the operational level so that the implementation of the work is continuous, and then the continuous work at the operational level leads to realization of the operational goals, which will help in fulfillment of the tactical or the middle level organizational goals. Now moving ahead, we'll look at the tactical plans. So the tactical plans are usually carried out at the middle level, and they are specifically stated, they are but not very detailed. So overall they generally say, like, they give what is to be done by the production department, what is to be done by the HR department, what is to be done by the marketing, what is to be done by the production, HR, marketing, finance. All these department wise they give what is expected of them, what has to be done by these various departments. So, and generally these plans are usually in the range of 1 to 3 years, generally, not always. It depends on what kind of business you are doing, that what is operational duration of the short term, medium term and long term, depends on what kind of business you are running. Say for example, just take an example and return back. So if you are into production of something which depends on agricultural output, okay, like say these masalas, etc., and suddenly you find in a newspaper that there is an exhibition being held by the state government in your city, and then that exhibition is 15 days from now. So your long range itself will be 15 days for that particular event. Okay, so for that participation in that particular event, maximum duration is 15 days. Okay, so your long range will be 15 days, and the medium range maybe some 1 week or so, and the short term will be that particular day of the exhibition, or maybe a few hours when at the fag end of or the day when large number of people come to the exhibition at the end of the day after their working hours. So evening 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. maybe your short term plan. So that way depends. So it was a 15 days period in which that business had to be executed. So it becomes very different. So similarly, such kind of thing. This is a small event that happened, and you being a small businessman who used to do, you may find it that these 15 days are long term, medium term and short term also you can fit in. But if it is a steel plant that has to be set up, okay, the short term itself will be few years, because identifying the land, acquiring the land, that itself will take many years. So few years is short term for a steel industry, whereas for some industries few years may mean long. Okay, so what is long range for one business may not be long range for another business. For some businesses, what is short term is long term for other businesses. Okay, so it is not fixed that short term means only up to 1 year, medium term means up to 3 years, long range means above 5 years. It is not fixed, but generally, common understanding, usual understanding is the operational plans or the short term plans are for up to 1 year. The tactical or medium range plans are above 1 year but up to around 3 years, and the strategic plans are usually those plans which are over 3 years or generally above 5 years. We call it as strategic plans. So the minimum duration of plan for 5 years and above, etc., they are considered as strategic in nature. So the tactical plans, coming back, the tactical plans are at the middle level of the organization, and these are stated specifically that this is the target for each department, and based on that the various departments begin to work, and the middle level people, what they have done to achieve this is they have created the operational level plans for the subordinates, and these subordinates, they work together on their operational level plans. They fulfilled their short term goals, and a collection of these short term goals leads to the fulfillment of the medium term goals. And there the various departments, when they have worked properly and they have achieved their goals department wise, all these are clubbed together and they contribute to the achievement of the medium range goal. And several medium range goals, when they are accomplished, that leads to the organization achieving its long range goals. So the top management's duty is to formulate the strategic plans, that is to make use of the opportunities and threats that are there in the market situation, that are there in the external environment, in such a way that the strengths and weaknesses of the organization are properly aligned with the opportunities and threats. So the organization would be making use of its strength to tap the opportunities. They would be using their strengths to tackle the threats that are there. They would be using their weaknesses to take use of the opportunity to convert that weakness into strength or mitigate that weakness. Mitigate means to reduce. And they would also be trying to ensure that their weaknesses are not hurt by the threats that are there in the market situation. So this overall strategic planning of the organization is about giving the direction to the organization, taking the organization forward in the future, ensuring that the business stays viable for long run, gives good returns to all the stakeholders. Stakeholders means all those people who are affected by the business. It includes the employees, the shareholders, the customers, the people who are there in the part of the distribution network, the people who directly and indirectly depend on this business, like say transporters are there who depend directly on this business. Then there are machine suppliers, there are raw material suppliers who are once again directly dependent, and then indirectly dependent, say like banks, etc., the employees of the bank, etc., which depend on the success of the bank, which depends on the organization's success. So direct and indirect, there are several people who will be influenced by the success of businesses, and therefore the organization's success is very critical for the entire society. So the direction, giving the organization a direction and ensuring its success, is done by the top level management. To attain this, what they do is they break up their long range plan into smaller achievable medium range plans. So if they are, for example, say planning for 10 years, then they will have two broad plans for first 5 years and second 5 years, and within those 5 years, maybe two and a half years, 4 plans would be there, and these will be medium range plans, and these 2.5 year plans would be given to the operational team, which will divide it, say, into 3 parts. So maybe 11 months each, 10 months each. So 2.5 years make 30 months. So 10 months, 10 months, 10 months. This is the target. So this way, when all the short-term plans are successful, it becomes the success of the medium range, and when all the medium range plans are successful, it leads to the success of the long range plan. So this is how you are going to integrate the strategic management or the top level management. Their responsibility is to give the general idea. I want to become the number one in this business. I want to have the highest market share in this particular business in 10 years from now, etc. That is stated generally. The tactical thing is to reach there. Okay, keeping that in mind, they specify our production target for the next 10 years should be like this. Our marketing targets for the next 10 years should be like this. So they are going to specify that. So sudden 10 years would not be possible. Maybe they'll say in the first 5 years, let us come to number 2, let us have a market share of this many percentages, and then in the next 5 years we'll increase that and reach the number 1 position. We'll increase our market share in the 6th to 10th year in this way. So that is more specific. And when it comes to operational, these people will say, in this year, this is the target for production, these many units have to be produced, these are the months when we require this much production, because the market demand fluctuates according to season, etc. Depending on that, they will plan for a year, and once that year is over, if they have exceeded, fine. If they have fallen short of the target, then that has to be compensated. Next 9 years they have time, but they may not look at 9 years, they may look at only 1 or 2 years, then addition of that. So similarly, marketing department does its activity, finance does their activity. So overall, each of the operational functional areas, they will do their bit to ensure that the short-term detailed plans are achieved, and these short-term plans, when they are successful, collectively they will result in medium range plan being successful. Several medium range plans together, they form the long range objectives. So this is how this planning has been classified, and hope you have understood short term, medium term and long term. And one more thing before I close this, please remember the short term, medium term and long term depends on the nature of business, the business life cycle of each particular product. For an automobile industry, it is very different, and for a fast moving consumer good like a soap or a toothpaste or a toothbrush, the cycle would be different. So what is short term for a mobile may not be short term for a refrigerator or a car. So keep that in mind, that it depends on the nature of business and also the product category. Thank you. In case of any doubts, please get in touch with us. Thanks again.